Okay, let's begin with a brief review of the previous video. If you have any questions, please go back to that. Any other questions, please put questions in the comments. Jesus said, "The fields are white unto harvest. Pray the Lord of the harvest to send forth workers into his fields." This is where the missionaries go to the mission field, or the pastors go in the congregation, or VBS workers work in the neighborhood with the kids, or our Sunday school teacher works with the students. This is where there's a feedback there. By nature, this is the truth that's communicated in love, by grace, in the name of Jesus. There's not necessarily a full price. There's a donation basis. Radio, TV programs go out, not necessarily require anything. So the partners need to supply the prayer and the gifts so the workers can continue to do this. The workers need to communicate with the partners so that this loop can go on. All these are mortal, they will die, they'll get given to come to Christ. Those are these green arrows are the 4 ministry bridges. Now then, what our stewardship community seeks to do is to serve each of these kinds of persons through these platforms mentioned later. One, directly serve those who are in the fields with their inquiries, with their questions, answer their questions, help them, help others to help them, and help the partners to help the workers to help the fields. We're going to work with all 3 kinds of groups, not just one. And the platforms are both online and offline. Later on, there will be diagrams and one-page summaries of this. Just to read these briefly, I get tangled up in it too much. There will be an online membership community where the members relate to each other, and they help to create the quarterly CDs. These are educational CDs that are mailed out every 90 days to subscribers. Then there is a public web-based platform that offers these things to the public, clearly. Our Cole Porter's library, if you look up Moody Cole Porter's library, it's an adaptation of that. Moody, when he started and grew his work, he printed simple lessons of good Christian teachings, and then he sold them and had other people to sell them. People made a living just selling his good Christian materials. Publish on demand is just what it says. I'll tell more about that later. And then the library, I have a fountain. There's other ways I'll talk about that, so people can borrow and meet and deal with all these and interact with each other and with all these materials. The platforms have these things in common. There are Networking Hub, which is the links to other resources. So instead of us having to do all the great things that Ravi Zacharias or Hank Hanegraaff or Ken Ham has done about apologetics, or what Charles Stanley has done, or Piper, or these are names that I know. Maybe you know other names, and then we'll link to that. Or we could go right to what Luther had, all the great works from history, Calvin, Luther, Aquinas, all those. We can link to those. Not just Christian materials, but other second materials. We can link to that. The wiki is like online encyclopedia, where we have the brief articles, the simple summaries of those, including the links to those. And we'll invite people to make their own educational material, put them on their own blog or website. Give us the links, we can send people to those. We'll create our own, like I said before, our own worksheets and workbooks and booklets, digital and physical. So these are the kinds of ways they will look, the kinds of. And then the trustees are the board directors, board advisors, and the reference board, working with the staff, the paid staff, and the volunteers. They work on these 3 things, which are shown to the public, come through these platforms to keep these going all over. It's a Big 10 operation. And to summarize it in a sentence, our stewardship community builds communication bridges for connecting Christian workers with their harvest fields and support partners. So the ministry connects the workers with their fields and their support partners. It's about building up these 4 bridges through using these different devices. Thank you for your attention.